But I view heterosexual non-abhorrent pornography too, just to let you brothers know that. I didn't expect that.
This video was brought to you by my beautiful Patreon community and my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much. Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we're going to be reviewing a set of videos recently leaked by this awesome Reddit user, Dev King. Videos that were meant to be seen only by the elders. We'll see how Brother Johnson will be humiliated and reproved for the huge crime of watching porn. Yeah, it's about to get culty. You know, as always, we're doing the cringe challenge, so if you cringe, you lose, and when you cringe, let me know the exact moment you lost it. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Before we take our next door, may I talk to you about something that's been bothering me?
Sure.
You know, since I'm a new elder, I've been giving a lot of thought about whether I should speak up and tell you about something that recently happened on our body. I know you met with the coordinator on Tuesday before the meeting. Perhaps he shared with you that he recently confessed to viewing non-abhorrent pornography?
No, he didn't tell me.
We reviewed his qualifications, but it was decided to retain him as an elder.
When did the body meet to review his qualifications?
Brother Martin, we met about a month ago. We met for almost 4 hours, and the body was divided. A lot of strong opinions were shared. The majority felt that because he voluntarily confessed that he's still qualified to serve. But I think everyone just got tired and ultimately allowed him to continue serving.
Was this a one-time occurrence, or was this a practice?
This was not a one-time occurrence. He viewed pornography multiple times over a year.
So if you've never been one of Jehovah's Witnesses before, you might be wondering, what the hell is going on? Let me explain. So each JW congregation is led by a group of men called elders, and above them in the hierarchy is the circuit overseer, who is in charge of supervising a circuit composed of around 20 congregations. The CO visits each congregation twice a year for the purpose of providing encouragement, but he's essentially a company man. And his main objective is to enforce protocol and make sure all the congregations are following the instructions from headquarters. COs are very powerful within the religion. They have the power to appoint and delete elders, and they are essential in enforcing compliance to the governing body. So this recently appointed elder is basically snitching to the CO, telling him that a fellow elder confessed to watching porn a few months ago, and that he feels the protocol was not enforced. Basically, digging up a case that has already been settled. Keep watching, it gets worse.
To your knowledge, has the body ever given him counsel on this matter before?
I don't know if he's ever received counsel before in the past. But you know, you mentioned to me in your last visit that no matter how large or small the issue, to always consult the Bible, the Shepherd Book, and research publications.
Notice how he equates the Bible with the Elder Book and other Watchtower publications, because when elders judge a case, the Elder Manual is the most important, not the Bible.
So I was a bit surprised that in that meeting, we never opened up the Bible to read a scripture or read the chapter on pornography in the Shepherd Book. We should have asked the questions in that chapter and we didn't. I really regret not speaking up about it. But I must admit I did feel quite intimidated and outnumbered.
Well, Brother Wilson, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I appreciate that. What should I do? Should I continue to question this newly appointed elder for more information? Or should I speak to the coordinator? If I decide to speak to the coordinator, should I do it alone or have another elder with me? Is this really a matter for the entire body to meet on? And since the body has decided, is this a closed matter? Should I simply have that newly appointed elder respect the decision of the body and move on?
Yes, I think that would be the most sensible thing to do in this situation. The poor man already suffered enough by having to confess to watching porn to his fellow elders, and they chose to let things go. So I see no reason why you should even bring the topic up. But you know, JWs love to overcomplicate things as much as possible, so get ready for a massive shit show to ensue.
how to proceed. I think I need to take this to Jehovah in prayer. Amen. Brother Johnson, thank you for taking the time to get with me and for your years of faithful service. I've asked Brother Williams to join us. It's come to my attention in speaking with Brother Williams and Brother Wilson on your body that you've had a problem viewing pornography many times over the past year. Is that true?
You know, Brother Martin, this is something that deeply ashamed of and embarrassed about the whole situation. You know, I wasn't raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and having been introduced to pornography as a young person, it's been a struggle. But learning the truth, I was able to leave it behind, you know. But in the last couple of years, things at home, it's been a challenge. My wife has entered menopause, and intimacy in our marriage has been affected. And due to that, it's led me to viewing pornography.
Crazy how they always manage to find a way to blame women for their screw-ups, even when there are no women involved.
This girl I met seduced me.
She caught you off guard, and sadly you were seduced by her.
I think he just weakly gave into the advances of a
manipulative, worldly woman.
It's amazing, actually. Hey, Brother Johnson, maybe your wife wouldn't be so emotionally distant if you didn't spend so much time hanging out in the boys' club. But yeah, let's blame the menopause.
And of course, it's not an excuse. But I viewed heterosexual, non-abhorrent pornography too, just to let you brothers know that.
The reason he had to emphasize that it was heterosexual porn is because in the eyes of the elders, watching homosexual porn is way, way worse, even if the New Testament itself doesn't make a distinction between the two. Oh wait, actually, the Bible doesn't even comment on porn, since it didn't exist yet. So the elders must rely on a series of arbitrary rules in order to judge this man.
But like I said, it's no excuse for my behavior, but that's the situation.
Does your wife know anything about this?
No, she'd be crushed. So I hadn't told her about it. But, you know, my conscience started bothering me on this situation, and so I wanted to bring it up to the brothers and get the matter handled.
And since you met with the brothers, have there been any additional episodes viewing pornography?
Bro, please just stop talking, I beg you.
This is it's embarrassing. I'm ashamed to answer that question, Brother Martin, but yes, there's been a couple of times that since informing the brothers that I have viewed it.
Please understand that we're both here. We're here to assist you.
And Garland, we appreciate being able to speak with you openly and honestly. That takes courage. And we want Jehovah's help, but to get it, we have to follow theocratic direction as outlined for us in the Shepherd Book. I thought it would be good if we read a piece of that, okay? Let's go to chapter 13, if you would.
In other words, the only way to get God's help is to pull out the Elder Manual and treat it as the Word of God. Screw what the Bible says, right? Apparently, the Big J's book is not enough, because we gotta use all this adjacent fan fiction.
Now, let me review with you what it says here in the first 3 points that are made. There's more, but we'll just take the first 3, okay? The body of elders may determine that the person still qualifies to serve in an appointed position if 1. His involvement consisted of a few brief viewings of non-abhorrent forms of pornography. 2. He displays a heartfelt desire to desist from looking at pornography. And 3. The elders are convinced that he will refrain from viewing it.
Notice how vague all these concepts actually are. So if Brother Johnson wants to keep his elder position, he has to not have viewed porn more than a few times. How many times is more than a few? 5, 10, a gazillion? Who knows? 2. He has to be determined to not view it again. Easy enough. And 3. The elders have to be convinced he won't watch it again. But as we saw in the previous leaked videos with Robbie, convincing the elders of something can be really difficult. And the phrasing is so stupid. How could the elders possibly be convinced he won't view porn again? They literally have no control over what this person does.
Now, I know that the elders met with you, they reviewed your qualifications, but since this matter really is more than a few brief viewings, and since there's been recent relapses, we're going to need to look at your qualifications all over again Friday night at the elders meeting.
Wow. I didn't expect that,
Should have kept your mouth shut, my boy.
especially considering the fact that we've already went through the whole process. But I'm willing to cooperate to set matters straight. I have no problem with it.
Garland, let me reassure you that the review of these things is being done with your best interest at heart and that of your dear wife. Let's offer a prayer to Jehovah, shall we?
Sure.
If you've ever confessed your sins to the elders, you are already familiar with this sickening tone of voice. It's almost drone-like. Most of the elders I dealt with did have the best intentions in mind, but you can be sure that company policy comes first, and most of them are willing to throw you under the bus as long as protocol is followed. If the elders really had Brother Johnson's well-being in mind, they would have just let this matter go instead of forcing him to humiliate himself all over again in front of the circuit overseer. But hey, anything to appease your conscience, right?
Brothers, I want you to know that Brother Wilson brought to my attention the ongoing problem Brother Johnson is having with viewing pornography. Now, I understand that you met with him, you reviewed his qualifications, and you decided to retain him.
I can't believe you did that. You had no right to take this outside the body at this time. The body of elders met and they rendered a decision with this situation. As far as we're concerned, the matter's closed. There's no need to discuss it further. You broke confidentiality. In fact, we may have to review your qualifications.
Well, brothers, the reason why I spoke to Brother Martin is because we didn't follow the procedures in the Shepherd Book.
Awkward.
Brothers, I know this isn't easy for you. It's not easy for Brother Johnson either. But to continue, let me remind you, please, of the responsibility that we all have to maintain good order so that our elders' meetings are conducted decently and by arrangement. Jesus said at Matthew 18:20 that where 2 or 3 were gathered, that he would be in their midst. Therefore, to maintain respect for Jesus' presence, if you want to comment, please raise your hand.
Yes, boys, raise your hand if you want to speak, just like you did back in kindergarten. This old man seems to be the voice of reason in this situation, so you can be sure he's going to be shut down immediately. Remember, there's no room for compassion in this cult.
Now, brothers, could you go with me, please, to chapter 1 of the Shepherd Book? It reminds us of the following. It says, older elders should not take offense when younger elders give suggestions or respectfully offer counsel. So I want to commend Brother Wilson for bringing this to my attention. But as a matter of fact, brothers, let's go a little bit further. The Shepherd Book on chapter 13. Paragraph 1 makes some powerful points here. I'll read it to you. It says, helping a Christian break free from the habit of viewing pornography requires scriptural counsel by loving shepherds. Therefore, when an elder learns that a Christian has deliberately viewed pornography, the body of elders should assign 2 elders to meet with him to establish the facts and determine the extent of the problem. If he's married, he should be kindly encouraged to reveal this matter to his mate. After the initial investigation, the assigned elders should provide and uptake to the body of elders. Therefore, brothers, I want to commend all of you. It's the responsibility of the body to evaluate whether or not the qualifications are being met by the coordinator to continue to serve. However, after meeting with Brother Johnson and Brother Williams, it became clear to me, in looking at printed direction as well, that the decision of the body of elders needs to be revisited.
I'm sorry, Brother Martin, but I object to this. We feel as a body that we've already put Brother Johnson through enough pain and anguish during this last review of his qualifications. Now, I'm going to tell you straight. Our entire body of elders, we understand Garland's predicament. In fact, we discussed the problem that he and his wife have been experiencing. We feel that he'll be able to handle the situation from here on and therefore is not disqualified from serving.
And brothers, how many of you agree with the sentiments just expressed?
Oh my god. This little rat just wanted to cause trouble, didn't he? It's a 3 versus 1 vote, but he's willing to drag down Brother Johnson in order to save his own conscience. This is literally all your fault, bro.
Well, brothers, since you reached the decision on this matter, can you share with me, please, the Bible principles that you used or the theocratic references that you went to so as to come to such a conclusion?
I got one for you, bro. 1 Thessalonians 4:11. Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life and mind your own business. Have you read that one?
Brothers, are you aware that when we met with Brother Johnson earlier in the week, that he confessed to ongoing viewing of pornography since the time you reviewed his qualifications? Is that right, Brother Johnson? Brothers, you aware of that?
Of course they're not aware, you bozo. They have adult responsibilities to tend to.
Well, to assist us in really viewing this matter properly, let's look at a couple scriptures together, okay? Please, let's go to Matthew 5. And I want you to notice, please, Jesus' words at verse 28. But I say to you that everyone who keeps on looking at a woman so as to have a passion for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
That's crime.
Go to Paul's words, please, at Colossians chapter 3. Look, please, at verse 5. Deaden, therefore, your body members that are on the earth as respects sexual immorality, uncleanness, uncontrolled sexual passion, hurtful desire, and greediness, which is idolatry. Now, brothers, when you review those scriptures, what does this help us understand about Brother Johnson's conduct? And no doubt you agree that what he's confessed to is a clear violation of those two scriptural principles. And as loyal men, aren't we concerned with more than just our personal opinions on these matters? Don't we want to get Jehovah's viewpoint, his will, as we proceed?
Jehovah's viewpoint, as expressed through his secret manual that only elders have access to.
So, brothers, let's look at what the organization says about someone who's appointed who continues to view pornography. It's here again in the Shepherd Book. Let's go now to paragraph 6 of chapter 13. It says, on the other hand, a Christian who persists in viewing non-abhorrent forms of pornography cannot be considered exemplary and thus does not qualify for special privileges in the congregation. So, brothers, do you understand, in view of Brother Johnson's confession, why we need to review his qualifications again? So, to help us meet the understanding of what the criteria is for him to continue to serve, we go back to very specific information in the Shepherd Book. Paragraph 5 now of chapter 13 has questions that need to be considered. Now, did the body of elders get the answers to these questions when you reviewed his qualifications the last time?
Put your hand down, you little
Brother
snitch.
Wilson?
No, he didn't. And honestly, I didn't speak up about it at the time.
Well, brothers, We need to get the answers to these questions, and we need to do it now. But let me ask you something, and you can give me your frank response on this too. Why didn't you consider these questions with him before?
Brother Martin, I'm very sorry for going off like that. Frankly, this has been very hard, and it was really hard the last time. Emotionally, that is. Garland is a very good friend. No, he's more like a son to me. I think my feelings got in the way and had more to do with the way I made the decision than the book did.
Sorry for being a human being with empathy and letting my friend off with a warning instead of using the secret manual to strip him from his position.
That can happen to any of us. But to continue to have Jehovah's blessing on Garland, and really on your body, the whole congregation, we need to follow Bible-based guidance provided by the slave. And it's a way to show loyalty to our King as well. So do you brothers understand why we need now to review his qualifications? Do you all agree to proceed?
His fate was sealed from the very beginning, wasn't it?
And you can clearly see that these brothers have what's best in mind for the body, for you, for the congregation. They clearly have a deep love for you and your wife.
I'm dead inside.
Brother Johnson is absolutely cooked. He will most likely be deleted as an elder for the crime of watching pornography, all because this young elder couldn't keep his trap shut. Now, dear viewer, you might be wondering, why would a grown-ass man be willing to discuss such personal details in front of 3 other dudes, humiliating himself in the process? Well, the answer is simple. Religious indoctrination. JW believed that keeping a secret from the elders can actually make you lose Jehovah's blessing, or even worse, block Jehovah's spirit from being in the congregation. This makes the common JW extremely paranoid and hurts their conscience to the point of going to confess. This desire to keep a clean conscience before Jehovah will make you throw your fellow worshippers under the bus, just like this dude did with Brother Johnson. He didn't care about Johnson's well-being. No, all he wanted to do was to stop feeling bad over his conscience. And this happens all the time in the religion, not only with elders. A JW learns of a sin committed by someone else, they feel super guilty about it, and end up snitching to the elders. This religion is a breeding ground for snitches. It's literally engraved into the culture. The worst part is that you don't even know who to trust, since you never know if your friend in the congregation will end up snitching on you to save their ass. This is the Gestapo state in religious form. Now, it would be good if Brother Johnson found a way to stop watching porn, since obviously his wife will be hurt when she finds out, but I don't think this is the way to go at it. Confessing to the elders clearly didn't help him beat his habit, so maybe he needs to find a better way to improve. All this religion does is promote guilt, snitching, and complete obedience to the branch. It's intrusive and deeply humiliating. The whole premise is ridiculous. Imagine 5 grown-ass men in suits coming together to talk about what one of them has been doing with his dick. You just can't make this up.
It just makes me so angry.
But it gets worse though, because we have one more clip now dealing on what happens if a Bethelite confesses to watching porn. Bethel is the JW headquarters, and of course watching porn is a huge violation of the protocol. Let's see what happens.
Hi, Terrence.
Hey, Donnell.
Well, we have been assigned by Bethel office to see how we can best help Johnny Young. He confessed to being involved with pornography. He initially approached me about the problem, and he revealed that he was exposed to it by a non-witness relative when he was in his pre-teens.
First of all, why didn't you report that creepy uncle to your family? Second, of course they find the first chance to blame it all on the worldly people, as if JWs weren't perfectly capable of stumbling upon porn all on their own.
He mentioned that he's been under a lot of pressure lately. He wants to get married, and so he has been dating. But the last 2 sisters he dated called things off, and this sent him into a downward spiral.
More woman blaming, yay!
In addition to that, a number of his friends have left Bethel for various reasons, and that adds to his distress.
Wow. What a difficult set of circumstances. I really feel for the young man. Did he say if it has affected him in some other ways?
Yes, he did. He also mentioned that from time to time, while viewing pornography, he slips into self-abuse. In fact, he admitted that these things have become part of his way of coping.
They're referring to masturbation, in case you didn't catch it. Watchtower loves to refer to masturbation as self-abuse, because what better way to guilt your young men than by making them hate their own bodies? This is just another day at Bethel. Some dudes in suits talking about what another man does with his penis, just as Jesus would have wanted.
You know, Donnell, it's commendable that he approached you.
Well, he is a good young man, a hard worker. I would never have guessed what he is dealing with.
Yes, that might be true. But when I say commendable, I mean you. You are to be commended. Aww. This young man must feel comfortable enough with you and that you're easy to approach about such intimate matters. So, how can we best assist him?
Well, he said he felt ashamed to have to talk about it, but he sensed a feeling of relief knowing that he would receive help. So I was thinking that we could share with him some Bible examples of those who made mistakes and who felt a measure of shame or guilt, but received Jehovah's help.
Let's see. What Bible character was working in the headquarters of some book publishing company and decided to confess to touching himself to a bunch of unpaid volunteers? Oh wait, I couldn't find any.
Yes, that will definitely help reassure him that he is not beyond Jehovah's tender care. And after that, if we can ask for specific details as to the amount of times that he viewed pornography and the type of material that he viewed, this will help us when we consider the questions found in the Shepherd Book.
That is true.
So it's not enough that this poor lad had to confess to watching porn and ricocheting his seed. Nope, now he has to provide explicit details as to what he was watching. Was there any gay action involved? How many times did you watch per week? How did you feel after watching? The more explicit the questions, the better. That way we can decide how hard we're gonna judge you.
He said that when he was between 13 and 15 years of age, he would engage in such activity once a month, but he stopped before he got baptized. But it has been since he's been at Bethel that these old desires have crept back into his life. And so that is why he asked for help.
Yeah, I really feel for the young man. And we can commend him for not trying to do it alone. Seeking help to overcome this really demonstrates that he wants to do things Jehovah's way.
That is true. From what I understand, he's only spoken to me about it. His father and his mother are separated, his father not being in the truth. So he has not been inclined to speak to either of them about it.
Yeah, why would he?
But those are things that the two of us can confirm.
Very true. So, what do you think he's expecting to happen?
I'm not really sure, but no doubt you recall that the dwelling manual in paragraph 79 states that whenever a member of the Bethel family is involved in viewing pornography, a determination will be made whether he can remain in Bethel. So in harmony with that, the responsible brothers have asked us to get back with Johnny and gather all the facts so that we can make a recommendation regarding whether he can remain a member of the Bethel family and a ministerial servant. So based on that, the Shepherd the Flock of God book, I have my tablet here, says in chapter 13, paragraph 6, the body of elders may determine that the person still qualifies to serve in an appointed position. Does his involvement consist of a few brief viewings of non-abhorrent forms of pornography was the first thing. Number 2, does he display a heartfelt desire to desist from looking at pornography? Number 3, are we convinced that he will refrain from viewing it any further? Number 4, does he retain the respect of others who are aware of what he did? And number 5, does his conscience allow him to do so?
Yeah, that's valuable guidance on how to approach the matter. And again, I want to commend him for seeking help, having the courage to do so. You know, it has to be embarrassing to reveal such matters to the elders.
That is true.
I can attest, there is nothing more humiliating and frankly emasculating than having to reveal your personal life to some old men.
When he spoke with me, he said that he knows that I'll have to talk to other elders, and he is willing to face whatever comes, even if it is judicial. He is prepared for that. He mentioned that he has a lot of confidence in me, and that whatever happens will be done Jehovah's way. So again, he is prepared for that.
Excellent. That is certainly encouraging to hear. And before we meet with him, would you mind if I said a word of prayer?
Not at all. We need Jehovah's Spirit to help us to care for our dear brother.
No, my friend. You don't need Jehovah's Spirit to help you prepare. You need to follow the Shepherd the Flock of God book first and foremost, because you seem to use that much more than the Bible in every single one of these videos. Get out of here, you crazy cultists. So guys, let me know what you thought of this series in the comment below, and let me know the moment you lost the cringe challenge, because I love reading your comments. I would like to thank all my Patreons and my YouTube channel members, but especially my top donors in the Tony Morris rank. If you would like to support my channel, head on over to Patreon or become a channel member. It's only $1 a month and you gain early access to all my videos. Thank you so much. Take it easy guys, have a wonderful day, and stay away from the tower.
Bah. Goodbye, little sheep.